Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. I know you guys are probably so tired of looking at my face, but we're gonna keep on going. Before I get started, I want to say shout out, super shout out, super props to Black Butterfly. She left a comment on one of my videos with a list of like 12 or 13 names, and most of the names on that list were women that I had never heard of. So shout outs to you. You suggested today's hidden figure, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, who is known as America's first Black pop star. So I'm gonna, of course, read you guys a little bit about her and then give you guys some quotes. So, in 1851, a concert soprano named Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield embarked on a national tour, that upended America's music scene. In antebellum America, operatic and concert songs were very popular forms of entertainment, and European concert sopranos drew huge crowds and rave reviews. Greenfield, however, was different. She was a former slave, and she was performing songs that a burgeoning field of American music criticism, led by John Sullivan Dwight, considered reserved for white artists. African American artists, most 19th century critics argued, lacked the refined cultivation of white Eurocentric genius, aka people that nearly wiped themselves out from being disgustingly dirty during the Black Plague. But I digress. And could create only simple music that lacked artistic depth, and yet they fucking follow us around like snot-nosed, little brothers and sisters, emulating everything we do. It was a prejudice that stretched back as far as Thomas Jefferson in his Notes on the State of Virginia, and was later reinforced by minstrel shows. But when Greenfield appeared on the scene, she shattered pre-existing beliefs about artistry and race. Known as the Black Swan, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield was born into slavery in Natchez, Mississippi around 1820. As a girl, she was taken to Philadelphia and raised by an abolitionist. Largely self-taught as a singer, she began her concert career in New York with the support of the Buffalo Musical Association. In Buffalo, she was saddled with the nickname the Black Swan, a crude attempt to play off the popularity of Jenny Lind, known as the Swedish Nightingale, who was wrapping up one of the most popular concert tours in American history. In 1851, Colonel Joseph H. Wood became Greenfield's promoter. Wood, however, was an overt racist and inhumane promoter known for creating wonderment museums. With Greenfield, he sought to replicate the success that P.T. Barnum had with Jenny Lind. In a letter to Frederick Douglass, Martin R. Delany, a physician, newspaper editor, and Civil War hero, wrote that Wood was a fervent supporter of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 and would not admit Black patrons into his museums or Greenfield's concerts. For Greenfield's African American supporters, it was a huge point of contention throughout her career. They were not allowed to fucking go see this Black woman sing. Critics reconciled their ears with their racism, also known as cognitive dissonance, when you're seeing one thing with your eyes and hearing one thing with your ears and feeling one thing, and yet you hold a completely opposing set of beliefs in your brain, and you have to reconcile one with the other. Such as, slaves are human beings that I can rape and procreate with. Slaves are property that I can own. Right? Dissonance. In antebellum America, the minstrel show was one of the most popular forms of musical entertainment, where white actors in blackface exploited common stereotypes of African Americans, grossly exaggerating their dialect, fashion, dancing, and singing. What is racist white teenagers for 1,000, Alex? Greenfield's performances, however, forced her critics to rethink stereotypes furthered by minstrel shows. The Cleveland Plain Dealer described the confusion that Greenfield caused for her audiences. It was amusing to behold the utter surprise and intense pleasure which were depicted on the faces of her listeners. They seemed to express, why, we see the face of a Black woman, but hear the voice of an angel. What does it mean? Because it's completely impossible that Black women actually have singing talent. Critics agreed that Greenfield was a major talent, but they found it difficult to reconcile their ears with their racism. One solution was to describe her as a talented but unpolished singer. For example, the New York Daily Tribune reported that it is hardly necessary to say that we did not expect to find an artist on the occasion. She has a fine voice but does not know how to use it. We see a similar phenomenon today in sports coverage in which black athletes are often praised for their raw physical athleticism, while white athletes are praised for their game intelligence. By performing repertoire thought too complex for black artists, and by doing it well, Greenfield forced her critics and audiences to re-examine their assumptions about the abilities of African American singers. On Thursday, March 31st, 1853, Greenfield made her New York City premiere at Metropolitan Hall. It was one of the largest performance halls in the world. And the day before the concert, the New York Daily Tribune carried an ad that read, "Particular notice, no colored persons can be admitted as there has been no part of the house appropriated for them." The ban resulted in a citywide uproar that prompted New York City's first police commissioner, George W. Matzel, to send a large police unit to Metropolitan Hall. Greenfield was met with laughter when she took the stage. Yet despite the inauspicious beginning, critics agreed that her range and power were astonishing. After her American tour, a successful European tour ensued. Greenfield paved the way for a host of black female concert singers, from Cicerietta Jones to Audra McDonald. In 1921, the musician and music publisher Harry Pace named the first successful black-owned record company, Black Swan Records, in her honor. Greenfield's voice was full and resonant, with remarkable range made more striking by her plain appearance and the charm of her imperfect training. She sang for Queen Victoria at Buckingham Palace in 1854, but despite her popularity, she was financially unable to continue her vocal tour. And in July 1854, she settled in Philadelphia, becoming a vocal teacher and for some years giving occasional concerts. Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield died on March 31st, 1876, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. During the Civil War, Elizabeth Greenfield appeared alongside speakers such as Frederick Douglass and Francis E.W. Harper. She also traveled throughout the country raising funds for various colored, aged, and orphan societies. She kind of used her, what we would consider celebrity, for a better purpose, right? For a higher cause. So now I'm going to read you guys some quotes. Now, I couldn't find any quotes by her specifically, but I am going to read you guys some excerpts from some newspaper articles writing about her. So the Buffalo Commercial Advertiser on October 10th, 1851. So the Buffalo Commercial Advertiser on October 10th, 1851 wrote, "A Black Swan. Among the musical novelties of the day, the public are soon to be astonished by the debut of a young lady of African extraction known by the name of Eliza Greenfield. We had the pleasure last evening in company with a party of musical amateurs of listening to her performance and must confess we were completely surprised and delighted. Miss Greenfield possesses a voice of great purity and flexibility and of extraordinary compass, singing the notes in alto with brilliancy and sweetness, and descending to the bass notes with a power and volume that is perfectly astonishing. She sang, among other pieces, when the gloom of night retiring, with a degree of artistic finish that many of our celebrated prima donnas might envy. We learn that measures are in progress to give our citizens an opportunity of hearing this new musical wonder, and we can safely vouch that there will be no disappointment." Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, a hidden figure. So again, thank you so much, Black Butterfly, for this suggestion. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use quite a few of your suggestions because they were excellent. So thank you so much yet again. Thank you everybody for watching. We're almost to the halfway point of the month. I really appreciate you guys watching and leaving such wonderful comments and supporting me through this because it's my first, ever daily vlog challenge. So thank you guys so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Food for thought as always. Links in the description box. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.